Welcome, it's the Crypto Sniper. Yes, back with you after talking to you about XRP, AVAX, and a couple of others in our previous video. We are back with more, and we're going to start with XRP, but we're also going to take a look at BTC. Yes, BTC. We will look at how AVAX finished and why you have targets and how HVF method works. We'll give you a short look-see about why it's worthwhile trading with HVF method and contemplating a course. There's a free link below for you to click on and enjoy. Make sure you are not using a spam email. Make sure you are, because you will receive videos on whatever email you provide. Also make sure that your browser is a browser that is acceptable. Some people have had minor issues of registering. It's 100% fine, I can absolutely guarantee you. Anyway, we're also going to talk about the macro in and around a number of cryptos. I'm going to be showing you ADA as well, and we're even going to take a look at Algorand. So a couple of cryptos there for you to have a look at, what's going on, what we see them doing, and then on that macro we're going to keep half an eye and warn you about where things could potentially get disorderly and when that could change. We update the community regularly as to whether it's safe to keep on the leverage long basis, on setups, and investment long on the macro. So let's start straight away with XRP. So bless you all, here you are. XRP was over here. This was your structure that we were highlighting for you over here. I've done it with our sexy draw tool, which is of course something you would get as a member of our community after completing your course materials, and you'll be able to utilize a very quick way of getting draws and targets. You could see that that target got you out there. Now you did overrun a fair bit over here, but then you got a kind of a little bit of a head and shouldery feel vibe about it. You did top out in the end. You got an inverted HVF on a very small time frame there. We can see in the structure on much smaller time frames. We delve into the detail with my regular updates with the community on exactly that, and that did indeed make its target to the downside. That's all very interesting on a fractalized low time frame nature, but it was natural for you to have a pullback after making the target, and that's why that's a good point to clear out, and you ended up down there. Then we got a subsequent rally, and we started to recognize that we may be getting our next gift from the XRP gods. Yes, and indeed it was. And so the next draw has come out, and so we've been leverage long again. Now, you might have got this one for free view that we gave you. I think it had already started its move. But you're now missing out on this one, which is all setting up. Isn't it beautiful how it's setting up on the target zone that was over here? So a couple of feet in the water with your low one and your low two, but otherwise battling and wrestling with the 150 mark. That's in the dotted blue. So apart from that little chunk there, let's clean our face a little bit and make this line a little fatter, shall we? Apart from this little head, you always smash a key level of significance with power. You dip down and you support on it, but then the subsequent rally couldn't make a new high. It fizzled. You smash it on the way back down again. You then wind up at the key 150 level to go back down. You got very little airtime above the 150 over there, just a little nose. I'd call that iceberging. The bulk of the action is below, and you got wick trimmed here, nothing but wick trimming. But this was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful bull flag, and it has targets, and it was a nice little check-in with the axis of the funnel of this particular draw, and we were overnight rewarded. Again, overnight rewarded. Isn't it lovely to go to bed and then just wake up the next day, have some more money, have Mr. Market, courtesy of HVF method, have some more money, shall you? Yes, does Sir enjoy such a morning? Does Sir like this with his poached eggs, spinach and salmon on toast? Would one appreciate it? One does indeed, he says. One does indeed, and so we appreciate it, and so we did. There's also the flag, which will take you up to, ironically, our second interim, which is also very, very interesting, because we love to see confluences. So you get a bit of a rest pause after the 169, which probably means a 170 run. And then I think you are looking at a potential 180 run. We have targets up to the 179.469, all courtesy of HVF method to the upside. So you are smashing longs to the upside on XRP, and it is very, very profitable and enjoyable. In fact, on that point, I don't often do this. It's kind of tacky. But you know, we get some, I think someone, you know, posted when your prices come down and all of this and all of that and all, you know, I might consider joining your community. You know, it's like Oliver Twist, can I have a little more gruel? You've got to lift yourself up and you've got to do it, guys. You've got to do it. I mean, I've gone and brought a couple of images here, and as I say, I don't like doing this too much. It's a bit braggy, it's a bit ego stuffy, but let me just say, our premium if you book and take use of your first visit incentive is sub 9.5 in dollars. Hasn't changed since 2017. Inflation has been like this since then. We're actually overdue some price reasons. That's the community, that's everything I do, that's updates, voicemails, videos, you name it, everything in here. And the guy's going, oh, it's too much. It's too much for what? Having two setups. Most of this is just on the last setup. It's a little bit of a P&L thing, or couple of exchanges I'm engaged in. You've got around 55k there. It's gone up since I made this group. You've got 126k there. This is the only one that includes both HVFs, by the way, this particular account. And you've got 67 plus 11 realized. That's about 78k there. Is it really a year's worth of training? Is it really too much? On the Rolls Royce, by the way, we have self-studies and payment plans that you can achieve a lot of this anyway at even a lower point. You won't get as much interaction on the daily, but you'll get a Sunday webinar, you'll get all the theory, you'll get everything delivered, you'll get a live trading day, all of these things. All you need to do is book a call. And people will say, no, it's too expensive. It's too expensive to what? It's too expensive to run a pump of an alt season and give 70% of it back because you don't get out, you don't know stops, you don't know how to take profits, you don't know the difference between investment, having some cold pot, some lukewarm pot, and then that rare occasions. I use a BitMEX for a hot pot over here. This is literally BitMEX. I can do a P&L. Alt seasons, I love running a BitMEX account for Hotpot and doing it. And I mean, you know, I put in about 16 grand and it's 2 Bitcoin now. It's 180 something, just under 2 Bitcoin. So, I mean, is it not worth doing it? And that's like since I decided that's it's alt season. I'm going to come back at you on why it's alt season in a minute. Anyway, I'm not, as I say, I'm not a mad fan for this because it's all like a tiny bit woo-ha braggy, and it's also peak pride before a fall. So that's all you can, that's all I'm showing on that, and it's not something I do often. So good luck. You can determine what you want from that. I mean it in all humility before the markets and gratitude to the method, not in any other ways. You can do this too. You need to invest and you need to understand. And you need to survive the alt bull market as much as thrive in it by not doing dumbass stuff. So there's a lot that goes into this. And don't forget, this is all in a macro where we have investment, and this macro is the one which we've said, $19.53. Second interim at around the $4.55 mark. I've shown those big time frame charts. I've got a lot to share today. I don't want to be too long-winded. You know, I don't want to go much over the half-hour mark. So that is XRP continuing to give. Looking a little pushback, and we'll touch on why there's a little worm worry. And remember, this can fail at any point, but generally in bull markets where you get setups one after another, you will eventually have one that fails, that stops. But if you're doing sized money management all the way, most people that get 3 or 4 right in a row lose half their pot when the last one goes bad. How do you do this without taking an outsized loss? And this is really important because money management is going to keep you in the game. And management of losses, the profits look after themselves. Famous sayings. Anyway, so that's beautiful. That's chart porn for me. It's successive HVFs all inside a macro HVF, which, as I said, you can look at previous videos where I've shown this. So we want to move on to the other tokens. That's it again. This was one brought to me by a community member that actually I was a bit wary on. It's Algorand, but it is one of the status tokens. Again, boom, it's one that triggered. Lovely little pullback, you guessed it, to the funnel, smashed it second interim. It's had a little pullback as well, a little more volatile than XRP, but you can look at that volume on the break there. In the end, it came, and it came big on the surge. Now a little bit of a pullback. We're looking for 37 cents to be won, but it's already at 34 cents. You would not be well served getting in here. In fact, you could have a pullback all the way down here before going to target, and you could have been rinsed. So this is the thing. We don't chase trades that have already broken. You get in at the just in time or on the early entries, which we teach you in our program, and you watch us implement. And can I say, if ever you were thinking of doing HVF method with me, or you thought maybe once, or on a soft day you thought, oh, maybe I'd do that, this is your window. This is your window, the next 10 months. And you have access to online with app and everything, desktop, you name it. No WhatsApp group, no Discords, no scrapers of the big great surveillance status, right the way through for a year, and you will catch what I suspect will be the meat of the altcoin market, which in literally, I've just shown you 1 week, maybe 10 days of a handful of 3 quick access platforms that I sometimes use on P&Ls, not including other things in the traditional market, etc., etc. So this is a real good spell generally. So I'm not trying to, this is the time where you get one of the best markets, high completion, high probabilities. I mean, it works all year round, decades through, but this is a sweet spot. It is a sweet spot for it, and you can, if you want to hustle and be engaged, this is where you can do it, and it can be exceedingly rewarding in a short time. So that's Algorand, which is, as I say, getting its shoes on there a little bit and doing a bit of jogging for you. So ADA, Cardano, lots of Cardano fans, and of course they got named. And now we don't have an HVF so much for Cardano, but we do have some things that are pretty damn positive, and I'm going to cover them. So first of all, after this rising wedge that you see here, let's just get that into frame, and then I'll show you all these other lines, what they're all about. The 3 impulse rising wedge that you get here, there it is, and you had a blowout the top, pop. That's a squeezy Japanesey. That's the way we like it, squeezing. But everyone thinks rising wedges are only downside breaks. No, but you get the outside pop. Then you got the period where XRP had made its targets, AVAX that we'll still be showing you had made its targets. A little bit of a whoop, and a little bit of softening. Bitcoin was softening. It had its pullback, and I'm going to tell you why. It's the alts that are going to be rewarding you more now than Bitcoin. So we are finally making, this is the turn in the Bitcoin dominance. We warned that it was coming, that there might be one more spill in a video about 2-3 months ago, that there might be one more spill to the downside. That has happened. So Bitcoin continued its assertion. We'll show you that next after this, before I go to AVAX, in fact. So given that we're talking about it, and this is ADA, a little bit of a flag there. And we always expect flags to break to the upside, and you did a break, and now you flag again. And you're hugging it on a return move a little bit. So you're getting a walkout trade. A little bit of a shooting star there, a little bit of pushback, you know, okay. But what is coming for ADA? Now, I prefer HVFs to flags, but we do all technical analysis, and we believe correctly and accurately. And targets are the biggest value, because it tells you a point when to take off, because corrections can and do come and can be big in crypto. So let's just go a little bit higher up. That's daily. That's almost too much higher up. Let's go 10 hours and grab the projections from flags. So the projections from flags, if we were to take this as one long flag all the way to the bottom here, there is a huge move for ADA that'll make the Cardano boys smile, 3.154. More probably shorter time frame and medium time frame and less macro out there is the move here up. That was a very distinct move. That's your channel, and that's pointing to the possibility of 1.259. So we'll see if ADA clinging on and moving there. We prefer to see the HVFs. That's why this was a great entry for ADA right there. Bang. And you see how you got rewarded. You got given the pole leg of that bull flag that I'm now showing you over here. So patterns are gifts. That's the setup. That set up the pole. That's squeezy Japanesey pop. 3 rising impulse, and up we go. Done. That was your gift. I should have done that on a lower time frame, but we're also showing you these big ass targets. So you know, there's a lot in this. deep dive. I'm giving you a flyover here, guys, a quick flyover, because there's lots of things I want to handle and talk to you about, which should be of plenty good value, I'm hoping. And if you were in the XRP trade with us, leave us a comment and say, yay, I made some dineros. I'll be delighted to hear it. We're happy when free views make some money too, by the way. We've actually had people that have made some money on the free views and bought their way into the course. It's happened many times. And that's the way it goes. But even if you don't, and we help someone on his way, we're delighted for you. We're just genuinely delighted for you. Make money, get better. This is, you know, it's us versus the statist at the end of the day. And we need to help each other. Okay, so what are we doing? ADO I've covered. So this was AVAX. That was the draw, the little setup that we gave there. So I said I'd do AVAX. I'll go and do the BTC dominance and why it's alt dominance now. Straight after this AVAX, let's finish with the tokens. So that was your grind through break, up, and then smash to the target there, bang, and that was your exit. By the way, you're barely any higher here, and you would have sat through some unbelievable chop. You see that? For what? You would have crapped yourself. And let me tell you, people get out on the fear. So you would have sold there. No, I've given back 50% of my profits. Oh, better close. No, it happened again. All of that. So that was the AVAX trade. That bit there, that, you know, if you take from our RL3 to the high there, that was the exciting move. This is where it's done the most. All set up by the, you guessed it, volatility squeeze. So we had a couple that set up on the volatility squeeze. We took green out of AVAX. We took green out of XRP. We're back in XRP. And for now, it's greening us out a bit. So that's all good. That's quite a few tokens. What of Bitcoin itself, some of you might say, because after all, it is God market. Let's see if it comes up next. Oh, Lumen. Let's do Lumen before we go to the big boss. So I'm doing it arse about face. We're doing the big boss last. This was a falling wedge. A couple guys got in and took just that for the falling wedge, and you had another. So it's working its way out. So also looking interesting. Not yet quite in our core structure zone, but looking interesting for continuation generally to the upside. So we're keeping a watchful eye on that one. It is the brother and the sister. By the way, this one gave on smaller time frames, if you're working it, lots and lots of little setups all the way up. And again, it's the HVFs that give you the pop. It's always the HVFs that give you the pop. Bang. And then you had it again. Bang. Go drop those onto 15 minutes and do it. I haven't got the time to do it all with you all the way through. Too many great tokens, too many great setups. But anyway, that's just showing you continuation is the game. Continuation setups with really tight risk with a stop, and expansive asymmetric, that means not proportionate, disproportionately large reward is the game. And it gives you for a small amount of risk, and it gives you also a high probability of outcome. So your probabilities of outcome times by your maximized reward on tight risk is the great gift of this. And then you turn profits into investment, and you're sitting in them, and your investment base grows. So the pyramid is the investment base. The base of the pyramid is the investment, and you can use that as collateral conservatively so that you don't blow a hole in your investment base, and you recapitalize profits into your investment base, and you keep growing your foundation. Strong foundations lead to maximization. No inverted pyramids here, please. So I think we're getting eventually to, this is Stellar Bitcoin, which is why we're watching it. It's also in a bit of a setup. So there you have it. Stellar should do well too. Stellar should do well too. XLM, we got setups on pretty small time frames. It's an H1, but these keep going. You've had ones work before. Again, HVFs into HVF. Look at the support there. Look at the support there. Let's use the Koki pen. Oh, why? Isn't it funny? Bouncing in a Francie funnel. It seems like it's support there. Total fluke, total coincidence. Boom, smash it up. This was also a setup in a slightly less structured way. It is and was, by the way. Boom. But this is the foundational one, and it's made a real seam of base that's kept this first impulse all the way up and down, supported. It's keeping the second that based out with a descending triangle and then spilled there. It's kept that as a base now, and you're pumped up. So that's where you are, and that's what's coming. So this is the kind of analysis we do. Cross-market analysis, BTC, USD. Occasionally we bring in the euro and others on certain things when we want additional clarity. This is how you win in crypto trading, friends. This is how you win in crypto trading. So what is Bitcoin doing? This has got to be the Bitcoin chart. In actual fact, it's bulked at the 100K. And we did a little bit of this where we showed the bond market and I'm going to show it to you as well today. So the bond market started a puke. That was the high on the 22nd, and this was the beginning of a spiller, the 25th. You see these dates, 25th, and if we go to the USD 10-year, you can see there was the high, that was 15th, there was the spill, the 22nd. So that 22nd date was key, and then 25 over here you started, you were there's 25, whoop, over there, boom. So 22 to 25, big gap down throw. So what does that mean when rates are going down on the US 10-year treasury? Money is flowing back into bonds. There's a bid under bonds. Now we need to understand the reserve asset discussion, and for this I did a diagram. Yep. So let's show you a diagram that might help with some of this. So here's how things started. You've got the bond market is in failure. So what we tell you every time is there's a debt market and it's in a state of failure. Too much debt. Boom. So that's USTs, treasuries, America, UK gilts, Japanese government bonds, etc., etc. Debt all from around the world. And it's in a state of failure, and it represents the legacy fiat and debt system. They go hand in hand. They're the evil twins. Yeah, they stuck at the head there. Now, when the interest rates are going up, those are devaluing and money is flowing out because it needs a higher yield to tempt money in. Money is flowing out. And initially in the bull, we said gold is king. If you remember our other diagrams we've done for you, and we do these diagrams purely to help explain things better. And there's quite a bit of effort goes in the team who do it. I don't have the time and the wherewithal, so I describe ideas and I try to get people to do something visually. Hit the like if you appreciate that, to help make some visual aids to understand the macro model of how things work. Money flowing out of debt markets initially was flowing along here to the roundabout, the circle here, and going smashing into gold. Then at later points, you started to see some go into silver a little bit, but it never fully got its shoes on, and into other precious metals. Also, as rates go up, property assets, which are financialized to the hilt, in most instances by retail, they go down. You see the deflationary ladder. So you're getting deflation in the value of bonds. It's a terrible asset class to be invested in. The 40-year call is the first time we called it in 2020, August, that this asset class is no longer to be invested in. We shorted TLT way up at 160. That's right. It's below 100 today or thereabouts. A massive head and shoulder that we called before it even had formed, and we took an inverted HVF up in the head. Go check previous videos on both the Market Sniper and the Crypto Sniper. You should be subscribed to both. You are being unsubscribed and not notified when we do videos. Hit the bell and smash always, by the way. Always notify me. So what starts to happen is after gold has had its run and Bitcoin is starting to follow, see our newsletter where we point out, you see Bitcoin breaking out of its broadening structure to the downside. We're one of the first to call, and gold breaking out before it, long before it, and now making progress. Bitcoin following the king anti-fiat, that is gold. You now start to get money coming out of debt markets and going in here. Talk of pension funds getting a little bit of BTC. Talk of this asset class using BTC as collateral. Talk of TradFi starting to put in. So it's institutional money that is driving BTC. By the way, Michael Saylor put in a massive wedge. Stopped buying on the 24th, and you saw also the sell-off coming in on the 25th as well. So he often ends up buying the localized high. Part of that is because he's not technical, and the other part is he's wailing in, and he is often the big bid, and the people moving money from the 18th to the 24th to get him in, once they stop and their bid chase is gone, there is a lack of bid stack. So he might look stupid by being the localized high, but he's also is the dominant whale, and when he pulls his bid, it's natural for there to be a bit of a test of the bid stack in the absence of him. So small point on that. Anyway, so you have altcoins, but initially the thick seam goes into Bitcoin. Bitcoin runs first. That's what you've had. You've had the Bitcoin dominance. We're going to that chart. But first, the diagram to explain. Only a little money is coming in here. Then the Trump trade comes in. Trump, CBDC king. That the Trump trade is a crypto story. It's nothing else. It's not dollar story. It's not anything else. It's the end. It's the recognition that the debt market is failing, and we have to get our running shoes on to get the digital markets up and running. All the status tokens, HBAR, Algorand, XRP, Lumen, they're all in there. XRP, Lumen, Sol, Algorand, etc., HBAR, they're all in there. They're starting to get a little bit of a bid now, of which XRP for us is the biggest, and Cardano, of course, as well. So with that said, you're starting to see the alts now moving. So let's go and have a look at that Bitcoin dominance chart, because you're hearing me now sticking my head on the block. I'll be right or wrong on this or not, but I am going to make the claim that this time the turn is in. So we said at one point there will be a turn coming. We said it over here. We said there might be one more sell-off at this point, but we said there will be a turn coming for Bitcoin dominance. That was around, oh goodness, it must have been about June, July, mid-year odd, and we said there will be one coming. This is it. This is the inverted, let's just be clear, Bitcoin market cap dominance. It's the fortnightly inverted. So we are looking at the scale going up when I point down like that. So we've flipped it on its head. It's the inverted chart. We do that for a very specific reason. You can learn more about why we do it if you join our community. But we are saying that you're probably looking at around 24%, possibly an overshoot even to 20%, and that this is a key turning event. You have been in a falling wedge on Bitcoin dominance, the inverted chart, which means you've been in a rising wedge on the normal one. So I'm going to talk just as the inverted chart. So it's been a falling wedge, very low vol, unlike where it spilt previously here. You had very harsh spills there, on Bitcoin dominance before. Now it's been, Bitcoin has gained slow dominance over the other tokens in this downward move, but it's been a falling wedge. That's what I'm showing you here, and I'm now saying to you this is a king candle right here, this that you are witnessing right here. Now I've got all my HVF setups and targets on it, so there's a gray label busy masking it. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit and give you the lowdown on this, because this is a key call that we're making. We are now saying to you that the biggest movement will actually be in the total market cap 2s and 3s, and I particularly fancy total market cap 3, so that excludes Ethereum. Ethereum will go up and probably go up faster than Bitcoin for a period as well, but I just don't think it's got the shine, quite the shine as the big other caps around it, especially in the status space, some of which missed the previous bull market to run the previous highs of 2017 and 18 bull market. So they've got a bit of catch up. So I am saying this candle here is a key rejection. You traded down, you came back up to the 60%. So at one point you were at 61% dominance, going on 62% dominance of Bitcoin. That means the bulk of the crypto market cap was in fact a Bitcoin crypto market cap. It was 62. It was more than all the others put together, and we're saying that turns, that goes through 50, it goes through 40, it goes through 35, and it goes all the way to a 20 number. That means the alt markets will be 75%, potentially 76% plus in due course, not immediately, but that this is like this turning point here, which was, there was two interactions here, but this was the ultimate low, which was a final spill, that was the final time Bitcoin ever would be 74% dominance. And I'm now saying it's turning at 62%. That means this is an alt run until the top of this market, which we think will be somewhere between the September-December period next year, 2025, unless you get a full-blown extension in the alt markets by duration. And that's a dangerous thing to say, because typically it's been 4 years and 4-year cycles. However, longer run, the issuance on the halvening is going to reduce in significance as an event in the crypto space as a whole. So we'll slowly start shifting away even from that, because the supply that's coming on is getting less and less. That it's more about the supply that's already been mined and is in flotation. It's a bit like gold. You know, mining is actually only about 1.5% of that's already above ground. Eventually you get to a situation that Bitcoin is similar, and in actual fact, if it's down, it gets to a point where it's down at about 24-25% total market cap. What's going on in the rest of crypto, which doesn't have a 4-year halvening, and each one has different versions of its own inflation and deflation, will become far more significant than what's going on in Bitcoin. So that is another key point as to why in time the 4-year halvening cycle will break up. You've got to remember that Bitcoin was the main and only token for a while, and everything revolved around its existence. Everything else was just a little, you know, rats and mice, copycat stuff. And now, of course, we've got a much broader base. Those that think the first iteration of software is the best are the same guys that would be coming down Table Mountain on a penny farthing bicycle, going arse over tit a couple of times, smashing a few ribs, and then driving themselves to the hospital in their Model T Ford. Me, I prefer the bike I have today and the car I have today. But that's just me. Things get better. They get smarter, they get refined, and they serve new purposes. Things change all the time in a dynamic environment. So saying that, this is not the Maxi's pitch. There's going to be Bitcoin maximalists watching this that hate on me right now for saying that. Go into the comments and tell me how much you hate me and why Bitcoin will always be the best version, always. And then to explain to me how all the innovations that they're doing on it is going to supersede things that are starting with a clean sheet and don't have the trapped foundation of your base layer. Go and explain why. Lightning Network, tell us why. Go and convince the people that are watching the video. I am not going to be easily convinced. In short, this is alt season. Alt season is coming. This is the turn. And you're hearing it now in this YouTube. This is the turn for dominance. You should be in alts more than you should be in Bitcoin now. That's right. And I look forward to the day I say it for silver over gold in the precious metals market, because that won't mean gold's not going up. And it doesn't mean I don't think Bitcoin's not going to 145,000 either. It's what goes on elsewhere that will be even more, which is why this will be a super enriching cycle, which is why you should have already clicked the link below and registered for your free video, or better still, click the call now and booked yourself in and say, shit, I'm changing my entire financial standing in the next 10 months if I do this right. And I don't even have to be perfect, because the market is going to forgive me with one of the biggest, most expansionary bull markets. The crypto sniper says so. The market sniper is watching the macros on the traditional world and will keep an eye on our backs. And we are going to max out during this period and take ourselves to new levels of freedom, because unfortunately it's money that buys you freedom. It allows me to move around the world, to be talking to you from many different summery type locations, because I prefer summers. I'm sorry, I prefer summers. I prefer being by the sea. I jump in the sea regularly. I'm going spearfishing. Yes, I'm going to start learning spearfishing and freediving. I have time to do things, and I love that, and I want that for you. I want it for my community, especially first. Get served, recognize us by giving of your energy. Financial flows is energy, and this is all waiting for you right here, right now, at the end of this video. Take action or be damned, because you will miss out, and you'll watch and you'll think would've, could've, should've. But buy yourself the right to live anywhere in the world, to have 3 homes in different continents, to move around. Buy yourself the right to have nice things and to give that to your children and your family. Do it now. Do it now. Reset is coming. You need to be able to do this. Buy yourself the right to have great profile for when the extractors come for your profits. It's not only what you make, it's what you keep, and it's what you keep from them. It's what you keep from your trading, not give back. It's what you keep from the taxman that will come with these extraction policies. Are you well positioned? If not, start now. Click the link below. Okay, so that is the turn. This is the call. Neon lights. Sniper calls end of Bitcoin dominance. You can go and say it. You can go and trumpet. This is a key engulfing candle that has taken you, rejected the 60%, heading for the 57.5. These are levels that will drop. I think we'll get up to here. We'll have a little bit of a pause, a little bit of Bitcoin dominance. It'll be used as collateral. Woohoo, everybody buy Bitcoin. And then we will pump again, and it will go in the end to a number with 20 in terms of total dominance. This is going to upset the maximalists that think it will only be. That won't mean MicroStrategy still doesn't do well. It could do exceedingly well, but what happens if it got killed? I don't know if it will get killed. I'm not saying it will, but going to 24% when all the other things are going to go from what was left here, that was about 39 and 38, to 80% is, I want to be part of that. I want to be part of that because that is an overperformance relative to a very strong performing asset that will still do the 145s we think we do. So that's it. That's the call. You need to be in alts, and you need to be in the dominant status alts with big market caps. Okay, you don't have to go full degen chasing something that did 250x, has no liquidity, and could dump all the way back 99% in a single moment. Okay, so that was the bond market, and this is a downturn in the bond market. What is it doing? Small amount of other world events, by the way, that I want to bring into that. I tell you what it's doing. It's causing the USD to collapse against the Japanese yen. We call that in the traditional markets. You think, well, why do I care? Because the last time this got disorderly, and the Japanese are due to raise rates due to inflation, and they have very low rates, but they raised them once. What actually happened? You had the yen carry trade unwind. And what happened to Bitcoin on the yen carry trade unwind? It was in August, and we can go and have a look and remind you for importance sakes, but the yen carry trade unwind was not a comfortable affair for the Bitcoin longs. Let's have a look at it. Boom, boom, boom. Where were we? There. Yen carry trade, August. It was before the breakout. You had a spiller, an absolute thriller. That's right. You actually traded 49k. By the way, we called that top. If you were watching this channel, we called that top. We had all sorts of targeting up there, and we said you're gonna meet the capping descending grind line and the 70k at the same time. That smells of a localized high. You literally made it on a wick, on a daily, and then you went straight into the carry trade collapse that took you to 49k at the low. That was what happened last time. You've also made this target, the 96. So the period under, if that were to happen, I'm not saying it's going to happen, it will be the same scale or anything, but it is a potential concern. The debt markets are precarious. They're in deep, deep trouble, as I've already explained. And what ends up happening, back to the diagrams again, what ends up happening is sometimes when there is absolute fear, you get this instead. And you get money coming out of Bitcoin and even more out of the alts because there's panic, because they're higher beta, and flushing back into the bond markets during fear. This is the disinflation, and of course the reversal of flows, where there is a panic and there's still an element of people that will go back into the bond market. You're already seeing that 10-year yield coming back down now finally. So you actually have the Fed cutting and the Bank of Japan about to raise. That was the exact same set of circumstances that caused the yen carry trade to unwind. That actually made Bitcoin spill from 70 to 49. That is $21,000. That was a substantial percent off that. It's about, on the 50k, call it 50, it's 20k over 50k. You actually had a 40% on movement. Pretty unpleasant indeed when you're on the downside. And that could see money come out, a little bit of gold could come off, and property will continue to shrink because fear. People don't rush out to buy property when there's a state of fear. So watch out for that. Those are the possibilities. So we're watching what Bitcoin is doing. Let's go back to the smaller time frame. For now, it looks like it's squaring up, calming down and squaring up after a little bit of volatility, and may do this, and we could have another go to the upside. Nice. But I wouldn't want to see it break the 95k to the downside. That could get problematic. That could be in the event of something bigger. So we want to hold above 95k now. Where did the 95k come from, apart from being a key round number? Let's just go into here. So we're doing Bitcoin analysis. Boy, we're doing a lot in this video today. Smash the like button if you're feeling like you're getting value over here. And remember to share to friends. So what did you get? You had a left shoulder, boom, boom, bosh, a head, and a right shoulder. It did get invalidated by the fact that that went higher. But this was a key level, 97,250. You could see it, 97,250, 97,250. You broke it, you pumped back above it, and then you let go. You pumped through it, you came back and you rested on it. 97,250 is halfway between 100k and 95k, and you can see 95k double bottom over there, 95k, a touch of the wick there. You could see it supported there and rallied back up, then it came down and sat on it, then it dipped through it and rallied to it, and then it spilt away and it rallied back up to it, there and there. So 95 key levels. You've got to recognize derivatives, big players, round numbers, all of this. This is what matters. So you've got key levels here. What we really want to do is get back above the 97,250. It would be great if we wound it up on Bitcoin, form some form of HVF, for example, and we'd trade it long and break above the 97,250 and just get into the top half of the building, which is the space between 97,250 and 100k. I'm still not sure it's going to go straight through and clear the 100k. We might be quite a spell below the 100k and Bitcoin Maximus will start to get vexed, but it'll be trading in and around. And during that period, certain alts might be getting their running shoes on and running, and we will be in them, like XRP, which has that target of around 1.8 that we're looking for and will be very, very grateful to receive. Okay, so we've covered quite a bit in here. A little bit on the macro markets. We've covered Bitcoin. We have covered the Bitcoin dominance. Key moment call right here from me. This is the bottom. I want to be early. I want to state it. Bitcoin will now underperform the total three. That's my take generally. And the total three will be dominated by the likes of Cardano, XRP, all the big majors. It's not some degen token that goes 300x that's going to be the reason. It will be the big majors, the status majors, Algorand, you name it, maybe a bit of AVAX again in time, etc., ones that we've already introduced to you. So watch out for the loss in value of the USD JPY. It's a fear trade. We covered that in a newsletter previously. You will get that newsletter once a month. No spam, no sharing of email addresses when you grab the free course below. We've covered this. USD JPY is a fear trade. Bonds contracting is a fear trade. Bonds contracting on the yield side, my apologies, to be clear, and them getting a bid. That red flow back into the old status fiat system, that's pointing to a little bit of cling to what you know. Final chart is Bitcoin by gold, and it's understandable that we're pausing a little bit here because you're at the localized high running the key level after quite a long little surge to the upside. So that's been very good. Great. So what do we make of all of this? What do you take away? What's your 3-bullet takeaway from this video? We are in long against XRP. Watch for the 1.8. That's our current favorite trade. That's what we're in. XLM in due course could be coming around. It's got nice structure potentially against Bitcoin. That could be good. Cardano is in flags. Not quite as ideal as upside HVFs, but has some big targets. We covered those. We also showed you Algorand, which is already in a breakout, not to be chased in because it's quite close to its target. But if it were to pull back a little bit, potentially. We also pointed out that there are certain risks on the macro time frame. We think Bitcoin could actually be under 100k, having not run it on the Friday when it was first queuing up to get it. I think that this is going to become a bit of a psychological thing, and it's going to drag on for a while. It's going to take a bit before they get to run that headline, but it could square up now and get at least into the upper half, which is above the 97,250, which is the midpoint between the 95 and the 100. So we want to get above the 97,250. We want to be in the second floor, bouncing around. As long as that is looking towards setting up, this is going to allow certain select alts that we are with HVF method determining and trading and taking $250,000 just on what I showed you in quite short durations out of the markets. This is a skill. It is a totally transferable skill. I am not a super genius. All our community members have learned it and are doing it and are showing me setups that they are finding and are recognizing their quality when they are quality and where they might be weak. It is a totally transferable skill. You can do it yourself. And the period coming between now and September 25 through to the end of the year is going to be one of the most maximalist opportunities for trading HVF method in one of the fastest moving markets that I know, with high probabilities of outcome. This is the sweet spot of a 5-year, 4-year, 5-year cycle right now. And if the difference it will make to get out close to your high water mark at the end of the alt run, at the end of the Bitcoin bull market, and retain and hold on to and build and take out and not be extracted against, versus wearing the first 30% of the bear market to the downside, still trying to long, and it's just a pullback, not recognizing when things have truly changed. All of this is technical skill sets you will acquire in here. On balance of probabilities, you will get a significant multiple of return to your investment, which I've given you guidance on is actually small beer for a skill for a lifetime, and you have a year to perfect it in, which should take you to the top of this crypto market. Plus you'll have the benefits of knowing when it's good to move into gold, silver, and all the other traditional markets as well. You will have everything we do, including webinars. You can book a call. You'll get the full detail on a bespoke platform where we have a very high quality group of people that are all maximizing their wealth and taking steps to be reset safe against your biggest enemy, which is government extraction, taxation, and all the legalese that they will bring down on you whilst they build this new digital money system, for which I'm afraid I'm unable to stop on my own. But getting exceedingly wealthy and having your best life inside of this environment is certainly a great goal for you, your family, your friends, and your loved ones. Be a leader, be a star, be a light. Take this skill set with you and maximize it during the next 10 months. You'll be so glad you did. We have a 14-day money back, no questions asked, by the way. If anything we said or represented about what we are doesn't do it, and we rarely ever get called on it. Okay, thanks very much. I look forward to talking to you more on the expanding crypto market, keeping an eye on the macro market. Thank you for liking and supporting the channel. Until next time, we catch you later. Bye.
Tired of profit wipeouts and blown accounts from following trade signal groups and other YouTube channels? Looking for a better way to trade, reduce your stress, and minimize your risk? Become a skilled technical analyst and see the charts and markets in a new light using the successfully proven HVF method by Francis Hunt, while being surrounded and supported by a principled, structured, and experienced community. Enjoy a constructive learning environment while practically trading markets, supported by a bespoke platform run through browser and app, specifically designed to teach and engage you whilst learning and growing as the markets move. This is not a Telegram or Slack signal group. All trade ideas are based on a proprietary technical analysis process honed over decades, which is the HVF method, leading to trade ideas with fast-moving breakouts and tight stops, exact entries and exits, nuanced interim considerations, and ultimately, strong rewards. Submissions are graded and scored by Francis for potential high-quality setups, and we provide bespoke tools to help get the job done properly and with precision. Over time and with focused effort, you'll begin to look at charts and price action just like Francis. Community updates every day by Francis and our 3 webinars a week provide a 360-degree approach, which are presented by our experienced team of trade leaders to spot potential trades. We're a community of self-actualized individuals, spanning the globe and active 24/7, 365. The premium community provides a warm, supportive, and cooperative place for people willing to listen, participate, contribute, and to learn. We've changed thousands of traders' lives. Transform your approach to trading now. Transform your life. Book an introductory call with us on the link below.